Hey guys, today I'm going to give you a brief introduction to web development. Before diving into the topics, we need to know about types of web developers. Web development work could be in the front end, the back end, or the full stack. Front end is the stuff you see on the website in your browser, including the presentation of content and user interface elements like the navigation bar. Front end developers use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and some other frameworks to ensure that the content is presented effectively. Now coming to the backend stores and serves program data to ensure that the front end has what it needs. Backend developers use programming languages like Java, Python, and JavaScript to work with data, whereas the full stack developers are comfortable with both the front end and the backend. Now let us see how does the internet works. When two computers need to interact, they must be physically or wirelessly linked. Any of those connections can be maintained by any modern computer. A network of this type is not restricted to two computers. You're free to connect as many computers as you like. However, things will become difficult if you want to connect a lot of computers. You'll need a lot of cables, right? To overcome this limitation, each computer on a network is linked to a specific little computer known as router. It ensures that a message sent from one computer reaches the correct destination computer. Once we add a router to the system, our network of 10 computers requires just 10 cables. But think about linking hundreds of thousands of computers. We can scale endlessly by connecting computers to routers and then routers to routers. But there's something lacking, right? This network was established for our own purpose. Other networks also exist, such as your friends, your neighbors. Everyone have their own computer network. However, it is not practical to connect your home to the rest of the world via wires. Well, there are existing wires connected to your residence, such as telephone. We require a unique piece of hardware known as modem in order to connect our network to the telephone infrastructure. This modem converts data from our network into data that can be used by the phone infrastructure. The messages will then be sent from our network to the target network. To accomplish that, we will attach our network to an internet service provider. An internet service provider is a business that oversees a set of unique routers connected to one another and has access to the routers of other ISPs. As a result, the message from our network is sent to the destination network via the network of ISP networks. ISP means Internet Service Providers. If you want to send a message to a computer, you have to specify which one, right? Thus, any computer linked to a network has a unique address that identifies it. It's called an IP address. It's an address made of series of 4 numbers separated by dots. For example, this one. However, it's difficult for us humans to recall that kind of address. So we can use this domain name instead of IP address, which is a name that can be read by humans, such as google.com, facebook.com, and etc. We typically use the domain name to access a website when using a web browser to browse the internet. Does that imply that the web and the internet are same? No. The internet is a technical infrastructure which allows billions of computers to be connected all together. Among those computers, some computers known as web servers can send messages to web browsers. The internet is an infrastructure, whereas the web is a service built on top of the internet. There are two types of computers that are connected to internet. They are clients and servers. Clients are the typical web user's internet connected devices, such as a computer connected to Wi-Fi or a phone connected to a mobile network. Whereas servers are computers that store web pages, sites, or apps. When a client device wants to access a web page, a copy of web page is downloaded from the server onto the client's machine. Then that copy of the web page is displayed in the user's web browser. All of this is possible with the internet connection. It allows you to send and receive the data on the web. In addition to the client and server, we also need to say hello to some things that are TCP, DNS, HTTP, component files. Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol are communication protocols that define how data should travel across the internet. Whereas DNS, Domain Name System, is like an address book for websites. When you type a web address in your browser like google.com, the browser looks at the DNS to find the website's IP address before it can retrieve the website. The browser needs to find out which server the website lives on. For example, if you need to buy some groceries, you need to look up the address of grocery shop in order to access the shop. Now coming to HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It is an application protocol that defines a language for clients and servers to speak to each other. Now coming to component files, we know that a website is made up of many different files. There are two types of component files. One, code files, and the second one, assets. Websites are built primarily from HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These are code files. Whereas assets can be images, videos, PDFs, and etc. that are present in website. What happens exactly? When you type a web address into your web browser, the browser goes to the DNS server and finds the real address of the server that the website lives on. And then the browser sends an HTTP request message to the server asking it to send a copy of a website to the client. This message and all other data sent between the client and the server is sent across your internet connection using TCP or IP, that is Internet Protocol. If the server approves the client's request, the server sends the client a 200 OK message, which means, of course, you can look at that website's, here it is, and then start sending the website's file to the browser as a series of small chunks called data packets. The browser assembles the small chunks into a complete web page and displays it to you. Earlier, I have mentioned the term called packets. What is it? Basically, when data is sent across the web, it is sent in thousands of small chunks called packets. It is sent in small chunks because if any part of the data is corrupted or damaged, it is easier to replace those small chunks. So, this is how the web works. I hope you have understood how the web works. This will definitely help you a lot in the future while you program the web. These concepts offer you a much more comprehensive understanding of the environment in which you will work. So, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. I will meet you in my next video.